Hi everybody, this is Father Warner Dsouza, and today is a very happy day for all of us in the church. We celebrate the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And today I'm going to use some amount of artistic license in narrating this reflection, but I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. You see, it all began with an angel. Good news always does. Angels show up rarely, but when they do, it's breaking news. You can ask Abraham or Lot or the shepherds in the field, or for that matter Joseph, to whom an angel appeared in his dreams. Gabriel must have been a special angel, for he brings the news of a birth to both Zacharias, telling him of the coming birth of St. John the Baptist, and then again to Mary, telling her of the birth of her own son. The Annunciation must have shot Gabriel into the spotlight. This is what broadcasters live for, the news story of all times, and Gabriel could not stop harping that he was picked. Gabriel now had the dream job, but this one had to be executed in real time. Nazareth was a small town in the mountains of Galilee, but Gabriel had no difficulty finding this place, especially when you're fitted with divinely supplied GPS. It is no wonder that Gabriel is recognized as the patron saint of messengers, telecommunication, and of postal workers. The house in Nazareth was a small and modest house made of mortar and stone walls cut literally into a rocky hillside. There were just two small rooms and a small courtyard in which a rock-hewn cistern collected rainwater. It was this place that Jehoiakim, or Joachim as we know him, and Hannah or Anna, and Miriam or Mary called their home. Gabriel certainly knew how to make an entrance, and this time he was most pleased with the form he took on. He was, after all, the divine messenger. But for the 16-year-old Miriam, all of this was a bit too much. So frightened was she that Gabriel's presence almost made her fall off the bench she was sitting on. It was a special bench, for Joseph had given it to her as their betrothal present. He was a carpenter by trade, and something about this match suggested by her father seemed perfect. Then one day Joseph came to her home. He had brought with him the ketubah, or the marriage contract, which he presented to Miriam. He also gave it to her father. There was the matter of the bride price to be paid, a token to be given by Joseph for raising their daughter, as well as being an expression of his love for Miriam. Joseph, like any good Jewish man, seemed most willing to pay it. But Hannah refused to hear any of this talk. She was a woman ahead of her times and wanted Miriam to be the same. She was proud that her baby had grown up to be a fine young woman who, among other things, feared God. But now all she could do was reminisce about the day that Miriam was born. It was on their first visit to the synagogue after her birth that Jehoiakim was given the honor of an aliyah, the opportunity to bless the reading of the Torah in the synagogue. Hannah remembered how proudly he proclaimed the blessing for her health and that of their baby. It was in this tiny synagogue in Nazareth that their baby was named Miriam, a name borne by the sister of Moses in the Old Testament. On that day, a much younger Elizabeth, their Enipsios or kinswoman, sat with her head covered in the balcony, viewing the proceedings behind the mekitza, which separated the men from the women. Who would have thought that one day this little Miriam would drop everything to be with Elizabeth during her pregnancy. It was this pregnancy that had left most of the Jews in amazement of what God could do, kindling the hope for the arrival of a Messiah. But how time flies. For here was Joseph, standing now beside Miriam, waiting for her to say yes to this marriage. Joseph was a man of tradition. He had, as tradition dictated, poured a cup of wine for his beloved, waiting to see if she drank it. If she did, then she would have accepted the proposal and they would have been betrothed. Coyly, she lifted the cup to her lips. Her cheeks flushed as she gently sipped the wine to a rapturous applause in the room. Joseph pulled out the bench he had made as a gift for his beloved and gave it to Miriam. It was the same bench she was sitting on when Gabriel appeared to her, announcing the good news of salvation. Now all Miriam had to do was to wait for Joseph to return and collect her on their wedding day. But Gabriel appeared before that day could come, and the rest, they say, was our faith story. I want to wish you today a very happy feast. I hope through this artistic license that I've used, you have had an insight into those beautiful days of our Blessed Mother. Most of what you have heard has been based on historical research. Please do share this article with your friends, and if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, now's the time to do it.